Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, for pricing. Today, we're discussing a lovely Blancpain Leman Perpetual calendar chronograph. It is the Chronograph flyback Blancpain Perpetual, a timepiece that is 40 millimeters in diameter in rose gold, 14.1 millimeters thick, and 44.9 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This is a lot of value for the money. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, the watch has a lot of presence due to the red gold black dial and the relatively large diameter. But you'll also note that it's super short across the wrist with that sub 45 millimeter lug to lug dimension. Over the top, you can see on each side, the lugs are nowhere near overhanging my wrist. So you can actually wear this thing on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Now in profile, it's not super thin, but it is nicely sloped. You can see the double-stepped twin gadroon bezel, which is going to allow a dress cuff to ride up over it, even though it's not exceptionally thin. It's a great dress watch, but it's also a bit more versatile than a dress watch, as the combination of the red gold, the chronograph, and the black dial makes it appear just a little bit sporty. The strap is built to match. Large rectangular scale alligator leather, high grade. We have a medium brown, a semi-gloss finish. There is some stuffing to add volume, bolstering they call it. There's a monotone stitch. There's a sheer cut side showing the layers of leather. Then on the underside, you can see it's black calf skin, and it's in very, very good condition. We have a clasp. Let's take a closer look at it. That is a single fold deployant, entirely polished, and it's relatively thick gauge gold, so it's weighty in its own right. It's Blancpain branded, both internally and externally. And then what happens is you tuck the strap into it, you pin it down on the little pin, then you close all of that, and then the extra strap length actually hides underneath the strap, so you don't need minder loops externally, creating a very clean aesthetic. This case design was known as the 2100 series for most of the 90s, and then mid to late decade, it was renamed Le Mans, and it's a very versatile watch. It's not expressly a dress watch. Again, I mentioned that it's got some sporty overtones, all the more so because with screw-down crown and chronograph pushers, this watch is 80 meters water resistant, and on a different strap, it would be very swimmable. It uses an intense red gold with full high polish, and the break between the tapered lugs and the case band is particularly distinct. There's a lot of beauty here and a lot of drama in a compact size. There is the name of the company on the flank, as well as pusher correctors for the calendar. We have the double-domed or double gadroon bezel, and rather heavily knurled crowns that are easy to grip, and they are screwed out right now, so I can show you some of the features. The first of which is that this is not just a chronograph, it is a flyback chronograph. So reset and restart without first stopping. Great for timing events that occur in rapid succession. Another very sporty feature of this watch is the amount of luminescent material. It's easy to see the time even in the dark, and you have a nice double index at 12 to help you orient yourself. The dial is black, and you can see it has a stepped hour track, and the center dial with a cruciform symmetry. You can split it laterally or vertically, and it will be symmetrical. We have a couple of coaxial registers. So over at 3 o'clock, we have chronograph minutes and the date. We have the month and the leap year up at 12 o'clock. And then over at 9 o'clock, we have a combination of chronograph hours and the day of the week with a moon phase. Now, the perpetual calendar can handle irregular length months. It can handle leap years. It does not need to be reset until the year 2100. The moon phase has an adjustment interval of over 122 years. We have a double index system. As you can see, we have faceted, applique, polished, rose gold indices, and then rose gold luminescent indices outboard of those. The hands are skeletonized to make it easier to view the sub-registers and the calendar complications. And then we flip the watch over, and you can see that the movement is based on the well-established high horology, Frédéric Piguet, 1185. These days, Frédéric Piguet and Blancpain are one company, which means they are effectively an in-house pair. This is an in-house movement for Blancpain. Now, it is upgraded, though, from the 1185. This movement is called the F585. A few things that are similar include the unidirectional winding, the 6 beat per second rate, the 40-hour power reserve, and the combination of a column wheel, for crisp actuation, which you can see. It has a blued screw at center. And then the use of a vertical clutch for chronograph engagement, which means no jump or stagger when you start or stop the chronograph seconds hand. And if you wish, you can run the chronograph full-time. There's no additional wear and tear with a vertical clutch system. The movement has been upgraded. There's a lot more complexity. The addition of the flyback complication as well as the perpetual calendar. It is 5-position adjusted, which is the high horology and chronometer standard, and all of this pivots on 35 joules. You can see Côte de Genève across the winding bridge and the winding rotor. You can see engine turning on the other bridges. You'll appreciate that most of the screws are fired blue, but we also have some black polished screws. It includes both. There's a blued screw at the center of the column wheel, but it is itself black polished. The bevels are quite impressive, especially on the winding bridge, the rotor, and the bridge immediately above the balance. The bridge work varies a little bit, but it's at its best on the rotor, the winding bridge, and then this bridge adjacent to the balance structure. It is a handsomely executed watch. They even black polished the escape lever. The attention to detail is immense. So reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing.